The Hell of the North weekend is here. Paris-Roubaix Femmes avec Zwift, a really exciting edition once again. Could anybody stop the SD Works Lotte Kopecky and Lorena Wiebes led train? Vos and Ferrand-Prevot have been close, but no cigar so far in the major classics. Early days breakaway with Nerlo and Ton were still up the road at the first cobble sector where the fight for position had begun. This is the second one, and you see Ellen van Dijk in position with her Trek teammates. On the front, it's actually Elizabeth Dijk, who jumped on the first cobble sectors in the first edition of this race to go solo and win. And Ellen van Dijk and Little Trek are going long from here as well. They jump. Ferrand-Prevot a little bit surprised by it, and she's caught in two minds. Blanca Vash is there, no Kopecky, no Vos, no Wiebes. Ferrand-Prevot's not getting much help just from Vash, and so she decides she has to let Van Dijk go. But now the race is open. Kopecky had to fight back into position, and so with the crosswind and the domestiques getting shelled in the sections between the cobble sections, the leaders of Visma Leasebike and SD Works are under a bit of pressure. You see the SD workers, Vash, Lach, and maybe Cecchini, having to come back. They were caught behind when it had already opened, and Van Dijk's got across the breakaway. She gets up to about 30 seconds, whilst Visma and SD Works have to manage that gap. Not a rider you want to let go and give free time up the road, even if it is from far. And yeah, for SD Works, the problem is Marta lacks like their best domestique out, and Vash too. They're the two best domestiques in the race for SD Works. And then on Oshie Les Oshie on the entry, one of the Visma Leasebike riders hits the gravel, loses her front wheel, and crashes in front of 2/3 of that small peloton. But who's involved? Pauline Ferrand-Prevot. She's caught up. She's having to remount. Whilst Vos was stalled, she lost a lot of momentum. And this is one of the hardest sections where Kopecky launched it last year, and she's going again. Kopecky goes, Wiebes on her wheel, the world champ, the European champ, they're already across to Ellen van Dijk on the same section. I thought the race might have already been over. Marianne Vos shoots across like a bullet before the section was even finished. And then Kopecky's on the radio saying, these two Dutch women on the other two strongest teams, they're smart. They're refusing to work with us. What should I do? Should she keep pacing with Wiebes? Should Wiebes have rolled through? Because she didn't, but Wiebes is probably hurting. A second group comes over with Alison Jackson, Jelena Erich, Romy Kasper, and this is where Kopecky's behaviour starts to get strange. 50k's to go. A lot of racing left here. They've only just done a few cobble sectors. She starts to close everything. Instead of Wiebes anticipating, Wiebes pacing, or sharing the load, she starts to close everything, and Wiebes sits on the back like she was already trying to set up for a sprint. But with Van Dijk dropped from that group, then the Ferrand-Prevot group's a bigger chance to come back, because now Trek are going to pace in that group. Then, out of Mons-en-Pavel, Kopecky launches it. Vos misses the bit. She's like, damn it. Clicks up a gear, gets onto Kopecky's wheel. But the problem with this move is everybody sees, all the cars, that Lorena Wiebes don't have it. It's one thing to not be with Vos and Kopecky, but she's getting dropped by Dijk, Alison Jackson, the others. She looks the weakest of the overall group of 6 or 7 riders up the road here, and yet this is the moment they had to switch to all in for Kopecky, but the opposite seems to happen. Kopecky then starts to nurse. She tries to nurse Wiebes through the race, but then she's attacking, and she's not able to get separation from Vos. So the others, again, Wiebes is dropped and comes back. So the worst case scenario is now with Group 2 having no SD Works in it, with Trek in it, Visma, EF storming back. This bigger group's a problem for Lotte Kopecky, who's isolated. Wiebes isn't helping her, and all the other teams are very reluctant, obviously, to work or cooperate with a group with Lotte Kopecky and Lorena Wiebes in it. So the attacks start raining down. EF with Borghese. Van Boerswat throws one in. Another move from EF. Little Trek and EF again. And every time it's Lotte Kopecky having to close these moves down. And these are the best times to go. Everyone's got the hand up. It's in between the cobble sections. Everyone's a bit tired. Let me go to the car. Let me get a drink. Let me relax. There ain't no off days. No time to relax in Paris-Roubaix. More anticipations come from EF, Trek, Visma, UAE, and every single time it's Lotte Kopecky having to solve this problem with Marianne Vos glued to her wheel, refusing to help, because of course she's got a teammate up the road in this image. So Kopecky's getting worked here. Then a move from Norsgaard. Great timing. Came from the back with speed. This now becomes a problem actually for the others. Those others, UAE, Visma, they would have wanted to be with the strong Trek rider. And so Visma half-heartedly put Van Borswoord on the front. But the gap starts to go to 35 seconds. Kopecky then, again, she's trying to nurse Wiebes through the race, in my opinion. But everyone's looking at her, and Wiebes like, well, we're not going to cooperate with you. You just dropped all our domestiques, because it wasn't like it was a soft pace on that last cobble section. And here's the moment of the race. Pauline Ferrand-Prevot on a 3% little kicker through this village, and look at the group behind her. Kopecky's head down, Balsamo blocking, Backstedt drinking, Georgie drinking. Everyone was just trying to relax a little bit after the cobble section, and PFP hits them on that little uphill, and she's gone. So better tactics than trying to pace behind and then do it later. Visma go on the offensive, and now Kopecky and Wiebes, who aren't pacing, they have big problems. It's now up to UAE or Canyon Schramm to try and bring this back, but they're getting no help. Backstedt flicks the elbow. She gets a stonewall face from Balsamo and Vos, who are blocking. 30 seconds into Camfin-Pavel, 2 more hard cobble sectors, and on the first of those, PFP immediately drops Norsgaard with 18.5 Ks to go clear. The Spirit seems to have come out of the chasing group. Last 5-star sector, Carrefour de Labre, 2.1 Ks long, and Vos is demoralizing everybody at the front. Dijk tries to go to the front, Vos in a wheel. Erich, very strong race. Vos is there. No move from Kopecky or Wiebes. There's a strong crosswind, and this gap goes out to about a minute, with PFP having no issues out of the last heavy cobble sector. Kopecky starts pacing, maybe for Wiebes to sprint for a podium place. Vos is on the radio, presumably telling Ferrand-Prevot that it's all looking good in the group chasing behind. And indeed, the podium places actually start to come up for battle, with Kopecky dropped, Shabby attacking, EF having 2 numbers. They had a really good race, EF Education Oatly, but Ferrand-Prevot, the French star in her first year back on the road, wins Paris-Roubaix Femmes avec Zwift. She didn't even know if she'd start this morning. Very clever move to anticipate. Borghese, a well-deserved second, and Vos just misses out on third. Wiebes sprinting for the last podium spot, but indeed it was a team effort, with Vos doing a lot of work. First to close down that move from Kopecky on Orshi, and then to block behind. Ferrand-Prevot wins ahead of Borghese, Wiebes, Vos, Jackson, Confalonieri, Shabby, Dijk, Balsamo, and Consoni. Here's what she had to say after the race.
Yeah, I've been sick the last 2 days, so I was not sure this morning to participate at the Paris-Roubaix. But we say, okay, we just go, and worst case scenario, I will do my best for Marianne. But yeah, it's good that finally I took the start, and yeah, winning here, it's just amazing. My boyfriend won a few years ago, so now I won. So we will have 2 stones at home, so it's quite cool.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Recap of the men's Paris-Roubaix coming tomorrow. Looks like dry and dusty conditions like today. Pretty exciting racing. And I'll see you with the recap then. Ciao, ciao.